And welcome to Comics with Jose. My name is Jose. I love comics and I want to share them with you. Follow me on Twitter at Art of J. Velez, on Instagram at jvelez622. We're going to review some comics that I like, that I love, and some that I don't like or love. I own all the comic books that I am showing. Even though we're going to be looking at them digitally, I actually have copies of every single comic book that we are going to review. Like and subscribe, and thanks for listening. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me here. We're going to be looking at Justice League number 5 from 1987. This was actually the first issue of Justice League of this run that I bought. And then I went back and got the other subsequent issues. I just had at that time gotten into Batman, who is still my favorite. I know he's a lot of people's favorite. My favorite non-big ones, so like Spider-Man and Thor, Hulk, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, the big ones um are Firestorm from DC. Just absolutely love the Firehead and the costume. I think it's pretty cool. And then in Marvel, it'd be Angel from the X-Men. I fell in love with it when Walt Simonson in one issue, Walt Simonson drew Angel before they had his wings chopped off on X Factor number 10. Um, Walt Simonson had drawn a version of Angel that I absolutely fell in love with those big ass wings. So to this day, I still have a soft spot, even though I even though I don't really care for the Archangel character. Wish they would reboot him back to just regular Angel, but that's kind of my favorite non-big Marvel. But I digress. We're going to be looking, like I said, at Justice League. I have this issue in tatters, just ripped to shreds because I read it so much because I loved it. So this is probably the best of that short Justice League run with Kevin Maguire. Kevin Maguire, I think, does the first 12 and then he's sporadic for like the next, does a couple more. But this one is just hilarious. So here we go. We start with an interlude that we haven't seen since Justice League 1. If you remember, there was like the gray man um, that had appeared and Dr. Fate had, warned him. So we're kind of picking up that thread that started in issue 1. Then we haven't seen anything for 2, 3, and 4. So we haven't seen anything, and now we're back to seeing Dr. Fate. Dr. Fate hasn't been a part of our story. So um, the Gray Man and Dr. Fate are enemies. I never have gone back to find out why or anything. All I know is from what I've seen from this. I don't know. It doesn't matter to me. So this is as part of the story. I can just tell they don't get along because the Gray Man tells you here. So Dr. Fate is looking for him, and or not looking for him. He's doing something, but he senses the Gray Man, so off he goes, and that's kind of all we get. So it's then this will pick up um, in issue 6, I believe. So now we are in an unnamed city, kind of like New York. So nice vertical panel here, just showing the building. And Jack Ryder is kind of giving some hot scoop. And he goes out. You can tell they don't like him very much. And this young man comes through and says he's got something for him in Stone Ridge, Vermont. And Jack says, why should he care about that? He says, well, they did see Dr. Fate in there. And he brightens up. As always, Kevin Maguire is so great at expressions. And he's like, oh, the Justice League. And so he's going to give the kid $100, but he has to keep it a secret. And he'll keep it. And then Jack makes a call. And he's going to do some kind of anti-Justice League expose. So, back to the Gray Man. So, we have the Gray Man again. And he has captured Dr. Fate. And he's basically in a living, but, existing. He's alive, but he doesn't really have a life. He doesn't dream. He doesn't feel. It's just always gray. It's probably not a very good life. So although he has long life and he's immortal, he doesn't, um, like I said, doesn't dream, doesn't feel, and he doesn't like it. And so we're gonna kind of go a little bit of his origin here. So he was a sorcerer, and he was attempting to pierce the barriers that separated dimensions. And his efforts basically caught the attentions of the Lords of Order, who felt that he was just too ambitious. So here are the Lords of Order. They're the ones that are Dr. Fate answers to. There's the Lords of Order and the Lords of Chaos. Anyway, he felt that his ambitions were too much, and so because they dared, he would be punished. So he basically just always saw gray, no color, no dreams. He was also able to create. And the Gray Man's also able to create clones of himself. Basically, he is able to collect the dream energy from those who are about to die. So, anyway, he's frustrated. He thinks it's just pain. And he basically wants out. So, like I said, he was collecting from people who were dying, but now he decided that he would start collecting it from regular, healthy people. And so he knew that the Lords of Order would never permit that. And he's basically trying to have power to be able to take them on. So what he's basically going to do is he is going to, real quick, love, you can really see his age. Very good art by Kevin Maguire and Al Gordon. But essentially, he's going to turn all humanity into gray men. Basically, take away their ability to dream. And so, now, here comes the main event, as I like to call it. And you can see Guy Gardner and Batman are about to go off here. So, Maguire is really doing a good job here. So, basically, they kind of have had enough of each other. So, Guy Gardner basically wants command, and he's just been yelling at Batman. Mr. Miracle's had enough. He thinks that Batman likes Guy Gardner's insubordination, doesn't really do anything about it. And anyway, Guy Gardner wants command. Batman says he'd give it to Captain Marvel first, and he goes, "Hey." And Captain Marvel Guy Gardner insults Captain Marvel, and Batman's kind of warning him, says this isn't a kennel. So Guy Gardner, as you can see here, he is taking off his ring. He's not going to use it against Batman. Batman has his hands in the back, so he gives it to Blue Beetle to keep it safe. Blue Beetle kind of makes fun of his language, tells him he's next. You can see here, Blue Beetle just tosses it. He wants Batman. Captain Marvel's trying to say, hey, don't stoop to his level. Batman tells him he knows what he's doing and just to keep out of this. And he's upset. So he wanted to. Now he's egging Gardner on. Batman says, all bark, no bite. And Guy Gardner says, oh, I bite all right. And says, I bite when, get ready. Bunk. One punch, and Batman leaves him out. And Mr. Miracle is like, well, at least he's efficient. One punch, Blue Beetle says, one punch. And Black Canary and Martian Manhunter come in. She's like, is he dead? And then she's like, no, we couldn't be that lucky. And so Batman walks away. Blue Beetle tells him he's not dead, just unconscious. She's like, what happened? And he says, Batman belted him. And she just, Batman belted him? And so Batman's just going to continue as if nothing happened. And they're all still like, oh my goodness gracious. So, yeah, this is perhaps the highlight of the entire run, is really based on everything that happens on this issue between Batman and Guy Gardner. And as you can see, they're in a meeting and she's still going, I missed it, I missed it. You know, there's still just such funny quips. And Oberon interrupts Batman and tells him that the monitor screen is talking to them. And Batman continues, and then he goes, what? And Dr. Fate is telling them that they need to go into Stone Ridge, Vermont. He can't teleport him. He doesn't have the power. So off he goes. So they estimate that the world has about 52 hours left before everybody becomes like the Gray Men. And he sends Captain Marvel first. Captain Marvel's all upset because Batman treated him like a child, because he is a child. And Blue Beetle says, well, he's right and blah blah. And he's like, Batman has no time. He's like, get the bug ready for takeoff now. And so Captain Marvel, again, he is a child in an adult body. So he gets there, sees Jack Ryder's vehicle, and this man is just kind of going a little crazy. And Captain Marvel takes him. So now the bug is getting there. You know, and Martian Manhunter says, you're too hard on him. And Batman, to his credit, he's right. I'm hard on everyone. And even Black Canary's like, good point. So they're going to land over there. And off they go. And he sees the paint and giggling. And of course, there's the creeper, which he replies, where his tongue is sticking out, but of course you can't tell because of the color. But yeah, his tongue is sticking out. And that town where, by the way, Jack Ryder is the creeper, so it's like an alter ego. You'll have to read up on him. There's a DC wiki, a DC database, so you can click on any character in there and it'll give you. So Stone Ridge, Vermont now is looks something different. So thus endeth our issue. Like and subscribe. Thanks for listening.